that steer the direction to the great Breaking Bad?
Well, I mean, even on Breaking Bad, I had my yeses and nos, and I worshiped that show, and I worshiped all the actors and the directors and the writers and Vince Gilligan. It was perfect show.
It was.
When I got the call to audition, just to audition, I was ecstatic. I mean, man, I was a fan of the show, so to actually be on it was incredible. But then when I got on it, I'm dyslexic. I have dyslexia, so it's very hard in my dyslexia to memorize lines. I need to get the script first.
Yes.
Or one of the first people. No, when it's ready, I should get it. When the
you need time to absorb it because you're going to memorize it. I take it, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to, improvise it. So not with Vince Gilligan. I mean, you can, but and I did improvise during Breaking Bad, but you have to have chutzpah, man. You have to have brass balls to do it. You can't just improvise because you're going to get blowback. What are you doing? And you have to defend it, or it has to be right so that they have to use it. So I did that, but I also needed times, and sometimes I would go up on my lines, and Bryan Cranston wouldn't like it. He'd say, "Hey, man, get your lines down." Whoa. I mean, hearing that from Bryan Cranston, you better get your lines down. I mean, that's what and sometimes I would have to break out of the scene and go up to the director and say, "Hey, am I doing something wrong?" And the director would say, or director did say, "Well, what are you talking about?" I'd say, "Well, Bryan Cranston is, telling me to remember my lines, and he's getting angry and he won't look at me. And, I don't want to cause any trouble here. So I'm just asking you, am I doing something wrong? Because I'm getting blowback from Bryan, and he's standing over there, and I'm talking to you over here."
Yeah.
So the director said, "Well, two things, Larry," and he said it to me very quietly, very endearingly. He said, "Two things, Larry. One is all actors go up on their lines. The second thing is we're losing the light. Fuck Cranston. Get back in there and let's do the scene, okay?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. He scared me straight. Boom. I didn't forget any lines after that.
Was that set a fine-tuned machine, though? I mean, I know all movie sets are supposed to be, but like everybody knew what this show was and what it represented, and it was flowing, right?
Yeah, but you can't have that mindset go. Once you're there, you just got to do your job. I mean, the awe has got to disappear, or you're fucked, man.
Yeah,
you can't have that kind of. I mean, that's the difference. I had awe acting with Bryan, and I was going up on my lines, and the director just verbally slapped the awe out of me. I said, "Fuck him, get back in there." And he hollered at me, not at Bryan. He said, "Get back in there, we're losing the light. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Whoa, okay." And he just, I got straight, and I just went back in there and did the scene. Forget about Bryan. Just, hang on. But, I mean, in another time on Breaking Bad, I totally improvised an entire monologue. And they used it. But Vince Gilligan noted it. And the next time, it was when I was trying to keep the cop out of the Winnebago, when Aaron and Bryan were in there.
Yeah.
It was the junkyard. Now it was old Joe.
Yep.
And I didn't want the cop to go in there. So I had Vince had one of the writers write me a monologue for that scene, because he said, when I got it, I said, "How long do I have to memorize this?" It was given to me the day I had to shoot it, when I arrived on the set. And it was a page long, which is impossible, man, for somebody who's got dyslexia like me. Impossible, can't be done. So I said to the AD, I said, how long do I have to memorize this? And he said, 2 hours. This scene shoots in 2 hours. It was a scene keeping the cop out of the Winnebago. I said, I can't do this. He said, well, you're going to have to. And then he just split because he saw I was getting weird. Hey, man, I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this. Excuse me, I got to get back to the set. Boom, and he split. So I tried to memorize it, but I couldn't. I mean, I just couldn't. I tried my damnedest because it was long. And it was an important speech. I mean, if I could master it, it would be, a notch in my gun in gunslinger's terms. So I tried, I couldn't do it. And I thought, well, I'll get fired. I mean, I don't know how to deal with this. So I thought, well, I'm an improvisational actor. All of a sudden I got chutzpah. Oh, I'll improvise this, I said to myself. I can do this. I'm an improviser. I've spent 10 years improvising, which was a true fact. So I just went out there and okay, you're up. I go, okay, fine. And I'm walking out there and and here's the other thing. I fired myself as soon as I thought that, okay, I'll improvise it. I won't tell anybody. I'll just go out there and I'll improvise it. And I'll get fired. That was my second thought. And I'll get fired. So I'm going to fire myself now in my dressing room before I go out there. So now I'm relaxed. Okay, I'm fired. Larry, you're fired. You're going to be fired. Okay, now improvise it and be relaxed. So I went out there and the director said, now I had done a scene in the morning that was really cool with just Brian. Short scene, great. So he was thinking, well, it's going to be this is a little longer, but Larry's a good actor. So he said, how's it going, Larry? I said, fine. You ready to do this? Because he knew it was, a long piece of monologue. He said, you ready to do this? I said, yeah, I'm ready to do this. He said, okay. And I said, but I know how to shoot it. And that stopped him. And he goes, what do you mean you know how to shoot this? I mean, for an actor to say that to a director, especially on Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is going on? You know how to direct this? Yeah. Okay, let's hear this. I mean, he was just really interested. Okay, Larry, let me hear how you're going to direct this scene. And I said, well, we can break it up, see? Because I'm thinking editing. I'm thinking, well, you got a shot inside, then you got a shot of the cop, then you got a shot of me, boom, boom. And in between them two, I can memorize the next piece. Well, that's not how movies are made. I didn't know my ass from my elbow. It's you shoot one long one, 2 long ones, 3 long ones, you go home and let them put them together. Okay, so he said, no, we're going to do a walk and talk, Larry. You're going to get down there, you're going to walk to the camera, and you're just going to say it in one long speech, and then you're going to go home. We're going to shoot it once. We'll put you in the car, and we'll send you back to, the dressing room, because we were in the middle of a desert. So we'll send you back home. So one take, you'll be gone in half an hour. How about that? And I thought, this is not, I'm going to get fired because he's not talking what I'm thinking. So I said, yeah, fine. Okay. So he tells me to get back there. He says, you ready? And I say, yeah, I'm ready. He says, okay. And action, Larry. And the camera's rolling. And I just started to improvise, man. I just said anything, any legal thing that came to mind that might in some way keep the cop out of the Winnebago. And I'm just walking and talking. And all I said to myself, I'm fired. Don't stutter. Don't keep talking. When you get to the end, say the last line, which I had remembered, and then you're fired. Just stay calm. And I started to walk and talk. Boom, and I got to the end, and he goes, great, okay, let's just do it one more time for insurance. What?
Wow.
I memorized that whole thing? He didn't blink. He didn't say nothing. He said, let's do one more thing. Now, I was totally relaxed because I thought, well, this is just insurance. I could fuck up. He's got it in the can. I did it perfectly. He didn't say a word. I said, okay, and if I fuck up, so he fires me. I don't care now. I did it. So I did it again. I improvised it again. You know, you can't improvise it exactly the same. I did the thing, and I thought, well, when I get to the end, they'll fire me now. I got to the end, and he said, "Okay, great. Larry's dismissed. Everybody, great job, Larry. Thank you." Put me in the limo, and I'm off. And I thought, what the fuck? So I had to wait 2 weeks to see the show, and when I saw it, this is what happened. If you know the scene that I'm talking about, I mean,
exactly. Remember that? To me, that's your scene of the whole
right.
series.
Okay, exactly. Good. Now I'm going to tell you what you saw and what you think you saw, because you didn't see that at all.
Okay.
What you saw, you didn't see. Okay, what you saw was me, and that's my scene, and it was. I had this big long speech. Okay, what you didn't see was I'm in that scene for exactly 9 seconds or less, and I timed it, and I watched it, and here's what was. I say the first line because I knew my first line, and I started to walk. So I say my first line, and they cut inside the Winnebago to Brian and Aaron, and they cut to the cops. Then they cut back inside to Brian and Aaron. So that's three shots right there. Cop, Brian, Aaron. Aaron, Brian, cop. Me, when I said something that applied to keeping him out of the thing, that worked and maybe was written. Maybe I was making it up, but it applied perfectly. Me. You know how long it takes to say one line? 2 seconds. Okay. So I'll give me 3 seconds. Okay, 3 seconds. Back to Brian, Aaron, cop. Brian, Allen, cop. Me, 3 seconds. Brian, Allen, cop. Brian, Allen, Brian, Aaron, Brian. Me, another 3 seconds. Cop, Aaron, Brian, cut out of the scene. In between that, the director had edited together my 2 improvs to come up with one perfect cop, you can't go into the Winnebago speech. You know, because I was saying good things, they just weren't what. And I asked one of the ADs, I said, who wrote this speech? Did Vince write this speech for me? And he said, no, the director wrote the speech. So in other words, man, the first time I was doing it, after I said 3 lines, he knew I was faking it. He wrote it.
Yeah.
And he let me go. And that's how cool this director was, and how together the Breaking Bad is.